When arguing for Taurus, you have to come with the facts. If you don't have the facts, it don't make no type of logical sense or it's not practical, we're not going for it. Plain and simple.
Yes, indeed. It's me. Look.
Okay, what's up? It's your boy Loyalce, and I'm here and back with another astrology banger. Yes, but hold up. I am not an astrologer, no astrologist. I just love astrology, and that's how the cookie crumbles, right? So today we here to talk about my sign, the only sign, Taurus. Before I start, I have to give a disclaimer for you people who don't understand that I'm giving you the general archetype and characteristic traits of Taurus. Astrology gets very, very deep, and everybody has a birth chart, so some things may apply to you and some things may not due to your birth chart because you consist of more than one sign. So like I said, this is general characteristic traits of Taurus. Now that we got that out the way, let's get to it. Taurus is a fixed earth sign ruled by Venus. In astrology, Venus is the planet of love, beauty. Those are the planets that correlate with the sign Taurus. Taurus rules the second house. The second house is about self-worth, finance, and all that good stuff, right? Everybody knows that Taurus can be very, very materialistic. If Taurus had a model, their model would be I have or mine. Mine, right? That is a fact about Taurus. If you ask my wife, I always say the word mine. Whatever conversation that you ever have with a Taurus, it's gonna come up eventually, which leads into my next point. Taurus is so materialistic that they put so much value into their possessions, you know, they come off possessive. They can be possessive. And the opposite sign of Taurus is Scorpio. Everybody knows that Scorpio can be possessive, right? You can carry characteristic traits of your opposite sign. So being that Scorpio is opposite of Taurus, you know, Taurus, you guys can be possessive as well, which leads into my other point. Taurus even look at people as their possession, their loved one, their friends. Like, here, I'm gonna put you on the shelf. And it's not like an intentional thing. So how we do things is like we love wholeheartedly. I don't know. I don't got an excuse for that for real. Like, I'm not even gonna try to make an excuse for that. But Taurus, like, we are very possessive, which leads into my other point, you know, that because we can be very possessive, we can come off jealous. And a lot of Taurus will say, I'm not jealous. Even I had to catch myself. I'm not a jealous person, but if I step out of the box and I look in, I can see where I can be jealous because it'll be times where like I feel like my friends or like my loved ones, like if they meet somebody new, like I'll feel some type of way after a while, like wait, that person is trying to out-friend me, they're trying to steal my friend. See, look, Taurus, mine and my friend, like how can you steal somebody? People are not objects. Tell that to a Taurus, they're not gonna listen. But honestly, all jokes aside, I can see myself getting jealous. Don't try to steal my sister or my brother from me. And that goes back into my point, treating people as your possessions. Honestly, it's just that like we love wholehearted. It's not like something that intentional, it's just who we are. You gotta hate it or love it, right? Another thing about Taurus is that because like Venus is around, we appreciate beauty, beautiful art, music, beautiful people. Like we are suckers for beauty. Libras are the same way because Venus exalts in Libra as well, just like Taurus. Like we share the same planet. Like we appreciate these beautiful things. Right? That's our weakness, is beauty. It comes off very vain, but that's just what it is, right? Venus, it allows us to have good taste. We like the finer things in life. We're very sensual. Taurus are touchy, kind of feely people when they are comfortable and they like you. They're very hands-on. How Taurus express their love, they rather just show you, which is a good thing because sometimes, because actions speak louder than words, Taurus doesn't really know how to express themselves. We're not that good at expressing our emotions. This is how you know a Taurus really likes you. They get you something that they like. Like that's crazy. Forget what you like. I like this for you. That's how Taurus express how they feel about you, because we don't really like people like that. And not to say that we don't like people, we have a good heart. It's just that we don't welcome anybody, just anybody into our world. So if we welcome you and open up our doors for you, that means that we really like you and care about you. Taurus are very laid back, calm people. We even come off shy. Tauruses are shy, but once they get comfortable with you, like you get to see the other side of a Taurus. They're very talkative. Like, they can come off arrogant. I'm not gonna lie, we are arrogant at times. Another thing about Taurus is that we're very humble. Hey, we're earth signs, so we're very down to earth. Another thing about Taurus is that we prefer quality over quantity. That's the law we live by. Another thing about Taurus is that because we're so sensual, they consider us the master of the five senses. We hear on a different level. We see on a different level. A Taurus would hear things that they're not supposed to hear. You said something under your breath, but it was not loud enough for the average person to hear. 9 times out of 10, that Taurus person heard you. Just know that. Even if they don't react on it, they heard you. We have good taste. We're good at picking things out that looks good. We know the good restaurants. We appreciate good smell. A Taurus can smell your BS. One thing Taurus people do, honestly, is like they act like like they don't know. And what I mean is a Taurus will play things up like you said something smart. Instead of approaching you, we heard it, we don't forget, we remember, we let that slide. A lot of things we acknowledge, but we just ignore it because if you know, like I know, this ain't what you want, you know what I'm saying? But like I don't want to get into all that, but I did. Another thing about Taurus is that we love routine. We believe if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We hate change, which is a bad thing because life is about growth and changing for the better. Just because you have a routine that works for you, it doesn't mean it's gonna work forever. Things change as seasons change and everything changes. One thing about not liking change is that you can miss out on several opportunities that were there for you. Taurus, I'm pretty sure in your lifetime that you lost so many good opportunities because you were very comfortable where you were at. You liked the routine the way it was, but it's no bueno, my friend. I'm a Taurus, duh, and I can speak off of experience, so I know that. If you have a Taurus in your life, whether it's a friend or a loved one, we all know one thing about that Taurus: stubbornness. We're bullheaded, stubborn people. Yes, what you call stubbornness, I call knowing what I want. But guess what? That's if you ask me. But if you're not asking me, stubborn is stubborn, right? So stubborn is a big flaw that us Taurus people have. We're so stubborn. What we believe is what we believe, and I can imagine how exhausting it is trying to crack that Taurus. Like, you make it hard for people that's around you, Taurus. Like, that stubborn part of you can make or break a situation for you, Taurus. I can see how and where just, you know, being stubborn can make somebody upset. We gotta stop being stubborn, but me stop being stubborn is me stopping to be a Taurus. It's not gonna happen. I'm not trying to patronize. It is what it is. Unless my sign change, it's like I cannot not be stubborn. One thing about Taurus is that we deal with logic. So it's kind of hard to argue with Taurus because all you're gonna hear is nothing but like, oh, that don't make sense. One of the Taurus strengths is common sense, practicality. All the earth signs, Virgos, Capricorn, and Taurus, like, we deal with logic and facts. When arguing for Taurus, you have to come with the facts. If you don't have the facts, it don't make no type of logical sense or it's not practical, we're not going for it. Plain and simple. And that's like where our stubbornness can come. Sometimes Taurus can be so stubborn that it's detrimental to your own self. Being so stubborn can make a Taurus self-destruct, and that's something that I work on every day. Subconsciously, I work on it because, like, who wants to deal with a stubborn person? Like, that's draining. Like, I already know when I be arguing, like, I'm like, where's the facts? Where's the facts? It's not facts. Where's the facts? It don't make sense logically. And I can understand, like, it can come off like we're robots. Like, it's like sometimes forget the logic. What about the emotional part? And that's the thing. We have to deal with everything else besides logic. Like, even though it don't make sense, sometimes we have to understand with emotions versus logic and common sense, right? So that's what it is. But guess what? Still keep your common sense, because common sense is not common. I'll tell you that. Appreciate it, okay? Taurus is a big oxymoron because we can be very patient and impatient at the same time. Another thing about Taurus is that we're very hard working, but at the same time we can be lazy. You're like, how does that make sense? When it comes to working financially, like, we like to be stable, we'll work hard for it, but like once we get home, we like to relax. Another thing about Taurus is that, like, because we're so stubborn and we don't like change, we would stay in toxic situations where we don't have to be. A Taurus will stay in a toxic relationship just because they don't want to change or they don't want to go through starting over, if that makes sense. Because when Taurus falls in love, we take our time to do anything, especially like a relationship or a friendship. Taurus do not rush into love, because when we do something, we do it for the long haul. And Taurus do not like to waste their time, even though we waste our time, if that makes sense. Like, we waste our time on things that's not meant to be wasting time on, which goes into Taurus being loyal. Taurus is one of the most loyalist signs. We'll be loyal to a thought, nevertheless. Not only a person, like, we're loyal to a default. And sometimes we're loyal to people that don't even deserve it. That's something that I had to work on a lot in my life, because loyalty will get you killed. Being loyal to the wrong person, not loyalty. Us being loyal is a big thing. Like, we live by that law. My name is Loyal C. Like, it's real out here. Another thing about Taurus is that we don't like flaky people. We don't like people that are like seem like flighty or people that's fake, because we're like a rock. So we believe in stableness, like stability, and Taurus goes hand in hand. So we cannot get along with people that are very flighty and flaky. Taurus are like very honest. If you want advice, Taurus people give very, very good advice. If you come in Taurus and you want to hear the truth and you want it wholeheartedly, Taurus will tell you the truth for the most part. Another thing about Taurus is that we are very, very picky, whether it's food, clothes, people, pick and choose who you want into our lives. A thing about Taurus, when I say like don't like fake people, a Taurus will not fake it. I will be cordial with you, but we won't fake like we like you. Like, we won't fake it. Like, it's either we like you or we don't. When it comes to Taurus, it's either black or white. There's no in between. If there's somebody we don't like, we're not gonna act like we like you. We'd rather just stay quiet and just stay quiet. buy it. That's just what it is. Like it makes me cringe. Like when I be seeing people talk about somebody and then they turn around and be like, yo, like that makes me cringe. Like I don't know about you, but most Tauruses, they don't like that. Another thing is that we have a radar for BS. What I mean is that if somebody's trying to finesse us, they're talking, like we'll listen to what they're saying. Like they'll have a whole song and dance, basically beat around the bush, and in our minds, we're filtering out what they're trying to say, but we'll let them talk, but we'll be like, all right, this is what they want. So I'm gonna act like I don't know what they want until they tell me what they want. We're good for that. We own you fast talkers. Taurus will act like they don't know what's going on. Trust me, we know what's going on. Another thing about Taurus is that we can be selfish if we got a goal that's set in mind. We don't see nothing else but what we want. And that's where it can come off selfish, even though Taurus people are very, very giving. Like I said, we only see our goals and wants and needs. It's just tunnel vision. Another thing about Taurus, we're very, very humble. We prefer peace instead of war. And people tend to take Taurus humbleness and kindness for a weakness. And a lot of people don't see the other side of Taurus. And not everybody get a chance to see Taurus's anger. I don't think you really want to see a Taurus's anger, because me personally, I don't like to get mad, because it's like when I get mad, I just become a person that I don't like to be. And I know a lot of Taurus can kind of like vouch for what I'm saying, because we prefer peace. I can't explain every Taurus's anger, but being that I'm a Taurus, I can explain my anger as a Taurus. A Taurus anger, I know that it's over the top, because one thing about Taurus is that if they get angry at you, that's not the first time that they've been angry at you. Best believe you made that Taurus mad, but they let you slide a couple of times. One thing Taurus do, let you slide without letting you know that we let you slide. Like we count in our head like, all right, cool. When we explode, we end up looking like the person that's in the wrong, when in actuality, we're not in the wrong. It's just our anger is so overwhelming that it looks like we're overdoing it. Tell you why, because we've been harboring that anger for a while. Instead of just saying like, don't do it again, we'll just count in our head like, and let you slide. I got tired of looking like the bad guy when I'm not the bad guy. So as a Taurus, to another Taurus, this is my advice to you. Try to let people know that they're making you upset, or whatever the case may be, or just stay away from that person, because they're gonna go to jail. Or, you know what I mean, like, we're gonna die about something that don't make sense. And we don't want that. I don't want that. Our anger can be very outlandish, over the top. And I just explained why to you. Another thing about Taurus is that we're a creature of habits, goes hand in hand with the routine I was telling you about. We like to self-indulge sometimes. Another thing about Taurus is that we come off shy, but we're not really shy. We're just not comfortable enough to let you see, like, you know, the freaky side. So, no, we are shy, but at the same time, we can be very outspoken and talkative and all of that. Tauruses, I know we like a bull. We like to move slow. We don't like to use unnecessary energy. We're very conservative and laid back. So a Taurus like to conserve their energy and use it for what it needs to be used for. We just like to store our energy instead of just using it all the time. If this activity doesn't have to consist of you using 100% of your energy, we're not using 100% of our energy. We'd rather just save it for a rainy day. We just rather save it for a rainy day. That's a fact. So like, it can seem like we're lazy. And another thing, Taurus moves slow, but them hands is fast. A Taurus is very good when it comes to funds, when it comes to financial stability. We have to be stable. We need foundation. Taurus fixed. We're like a rock. We have to make sure that everything is good, like financially. The second house rules financial and self-worth. So basically, I just gave you the good, the bad, the ugly for the sign Taurus. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, and shout out to my fellow Taurians out there. It's your boy LoyalceeCorner, and I'm out. Okay.